Now to some breaking news on the president's re-election prospects. Check out these brand new numbers in the Gallup poll. President Biden's approval rating sitting now just at 37%, and 59% of Americans disapprove of the job he's doing. These folks are the lowest approval ratings of Biden's entire presidency. The poll was completed on the day Biden announced he would seek a second term in office. John?
And we have another strange incident involving children at the White House we have to talk about. It was Take Your Child to Work Day yesterday, and a day after the president failed to hide his pre-prepared questions from the LA Times during that news conference a day before. So they needed something a little easier. And someone thought it might be a good idea to have President Biden take questions from the kids. What could go wrong?
The last country I've traveled, I'm thinking what's the last one I was in. I've been to 89, I met with 89 heads of state so far. So I'm trying to think, where was the last place I was? It's hard to keep track. I mean, yeah, you're right, Ireland. That's where it was.
Nervous laughter ensued. Now, President Biden forgot where he was just 2 weeks ago. We know he was there with his sister and his son, Hunter Biden. You know who wasn't there with Hunter and Joe? Navy, Hunter's unwanted love child. In fact, Hunter's never even met his youngest child, according to reports, and President Biden has either forgotten about his 7th grandchild or he's just ignoring her again.
I have 6 grandchildren, and I'm crazy about them. And I speak to them every single day. Not a joke. Matter of fact, I just got finished going through the calls, and only one of them answered the phone. But at least I got to leave a message.
Maybe the joke is on us. Let's welcome in now former U.S. Ambassador to Germany and former Director of National Intelligence, Ambassador Ric Grenell. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know what's worse here, the fact that the Commander-in-Chief doesn't know where he was 2 weeks ago, or that he refuses to acknowledge his 7th grandchild. Or we could also talk about the poll numbers, the lowest out of his entire presidency. I'm willing to bet, though, the only one the political team at the White House is really concerned about, Rick, are his poll numbers.
Yeah, look, these polling numbers are terrible. They're the lowest that we've seen. So Joe Biden is in trouble here, and it's really going to be difficult to tell the American people that things are normal. I know that that's what they do in Washington, and that's the whole narrative, is that everything is normal and we have a Supreme Court justice who doesn't know what a woman is, but this is all normal in Washington, D.C. What the rest of us have to do outside of D.C. is we have to start raising our voices and saying, Washington, D.C. is radical crazy. The world is watching this. The world is seeing it. I mean, here I live in Los Angeles, and in Los Angeles, everyone is talking about the Los Angeles Times literally giving the word-for-word question to the White House. Well, the Los Angeles Times and the White House is saying, oh, this is normal. It's not normal. It's only normal in Washington, D.C. So we can really run this whole election on return to common sense. And that's what Donald Trump does. He's constantly the guy on the outside that talks, in common sense. And people respond to that. I think that Joe Biden cannot improve these numbers. I think it's over for him.
Yeah, the same people who tell us that the adults are in charge after Joe Biden gets elected are the ones telling us that the kids are the best people to ask questions of the president. So let's talk about President Trump in New Hampshire yesterday. He officially retired Crooked Hillary, and he says that name now belongs to Joe Biden. And unlike Joe Biden, President Trump's poll numbers have seen a rise recently, and some people are now saying the Democrats' primary might be more competitive than the GOP primary.
Look, I think if you watch that video from Robert Kennedy, he really hits it hard. He's an old school liberal. He's not a crazy radical. He rejects a lot of what's happening. And so I think you're going to see a lot of people who are old school liberals, maybe Bernie Sanders supporters, people who are consistently of the mindset that we've got to fight for the working class and we need common sense. We don't need, this kind of radical takeover. I think they're going to be looking at Robert Kennedy. Again, his video was compelling, and he's asking some good questions. I think that President Trump should take a look at Robert Kennedy's video. He's got some interesting points, and it would be something worthwhile to take a look at.
What do you mean by that? I mean, I know you and I were texting previously about the VP pick and what President Trump said with Greg Kelly, how it doesn't really matter. What is your take on all of that?
Well, I think President Trump is right. For him, it really doesn't matter. The vice president pick doesn't matter. He's going to be looking for a super staffer, somebody who is a loyalist, but that can manage big, complex problems. President Trump is somebody who actually gives people that he believes in the authority to go out and do their job, but then he holds them to account. He checks in and he asks you, how's it going? So I think that VP job is going to be someone who's a loyalist, like a super staffer. But now the vice president for somebody like Joe Biden is crucial, because we all know that he has to be scripted. He is bumbling. He can barely walk. We all know this. Only in Washington, D.C. and in newsrooms are they trying to tell us that all is fine.
Yeah.
We know all is not fine. We see it. Everyone who lives outside of Washington, D.C. is laughing at him.
Everyone, yeah, you're right. I'll leave it at that. I also want to talk to you, too, about Fox News and Tucker Carlson. That 2-minute video he posted to Twitter on Wednesday at 8 p.m. had more than 60 million views in the first 24 hours. Now, it's not exactly apples to apples, but those numbers dwarf the ratings for Tucker's replacement at 8 p.m. that same night. Meanwhile, we've seen our audience increase here over 187% across the day. Did Fox underestimate the backlash here? They don't seem to be interested in keeping Tucker's audience around.
Look, Tucker is more popular than Fox News, and the management at Fox News needs to understand that. Tucker is extremely popular. He's an intellect. He's somebody who also is practical. He's somebody who is filled with common sense. And people see that. And so I think they did overestimate the fact that their brand was bigger than his. I think his brand is more likable, and people are going to respond certainly from their audience. And, I hope Tucker takes a look at Newsmax. I would love to have him. I've been at Fox News before. I'm now at Newsmax. I'd like to see Tucker make the same jump.
I think you and a lot of people feel the same way. We'll see what comes of it all. Rick, great to see you as always. Have a wonderful weekend.
All the best, John.